So basically, Elliot, these microphones, what you say into it, you can hear it in your headphones.
Really?
Yeah. And then the headphones is like feedback. So if you're moving away from the microphone, sick.
Have you been in a studio before? Do you know like how
No,
this
this is my first time. I'm really excited, guys. So yeah, I've got some song ideas I wanted to run past you.
We actually said a second ago we'd do the podcast. I'll speak in an accent.
Yeah, me and James also spoke before. We thought, you know what? We spoke about it. It was a tough decision, but if you do want us on your next track, we'll do it. It's not a problem.
And I'll sing in a Scottish accent.
I actually think there's some way I could get you on the album, maybe, and there's a skit. You know, like when you used to listen to all the hip hop albums, there'll be a skit with people chatting on them or leaving a voicemail. I reckon.
Imagine adding that on the on your resume.
Limp Bizkit used to do that.
Limp Bizkit. I reckon. I'm actually deadly serious about this. We could. Because purely because the week the album comes out, we'll get so many sales just from you guys going, we're talking on Examples album. Got me realistic.
That's a good move, yeah, 100%.
And then it works for you, it works for us.
I don't know how it works for you.
And then
you get to say you've done a song with me.
Yeah, 100%.
Done a song.
I'll be like, so basically, man had a 2-minute music career.
It's longer than his sex life.
Yeah.
But then we actually said this the other day, like, sometimes when you're enjoying the moment, it's difficult to realize the magnitude of it. But one day you could sit down with your grandkids and be like, look at your granddad here.
What was this when you turned into a Scottish guy? Hey, you wouldn't believe it, but your granddad Jimmy, he was on a rap album. It was kind of 2-step garage, but back in the day. And then your kids with their Lithuanian accents, I'm assuming, will be, that is so lovely, Granddad Jimmy.
Very nice.
Tell us a story.
But it's actually mad that like in several like generations time, you could be like, oh, did I ever tell you that I was on a best-selling album? They're like, no, you weren't. It's like, yeah, this guy.
I think that's one of the coolest things about like YouTube, Insta. Like your great grandkids can go there and be like, oh, this was my great granddad. He was an OG, bruv.
Yeah, it's like I always think about like some random stuff that I've done, like and that I could tell. It's just like your kids one day, because it's all about, you don't really tell these stories to your granddad, so hopefully I live to see my grandkids. But I was, when they're like, did you ever try acting, Dad? Or they'll be Aussie, won't they? Did you ever try acting, Granddad? And I'll be like, I did. Your granddad was in a film once called White Island about Ibiza. What did you do in it? I killed Billy Zane. Who's Billy Zane? The baddie from Titanic.
Oh, is it?
That's actually a true story.
There was a bad guy in Titanic.
I've acted in 2 films, and one of them had a fella from Lord of the Rings in it, Billy Boyd, and Billy Zane. Billy Zane was in it, and I had a gun and I killed Billy Zane, and he falls off a boat.
Jamie, bring that up.
Yeah.
I knew you had that in your bullet notes, so
I would love to do a bit of acting.
Oh,
I was not very good, and also I'm so impatient. The thing is with music is you can kind of just go, I'm writing a song, and then the impatient part is waiting for it to come out.
Oh, him?
Isn't he in The Mummy?
My guy, he's in a
lot of films. Yeah.
He's in The Mummy. That's
he's still alive. I only killed him in the movie.
Oh.
But the thing with films, I mean, you probably know when you've done photo shoots and stuff or TV show, there's a lot of waiting around for people, and I don't mind waiting around. I don't mind waiting around for me to go on stage. Like it's my gig, but I don't want to be like, like the thing with films. They're like, oh, the weather's changed, or the lighting guys need 3 more hours. 3 more fucking hours.
Yeah, because I think when we make content or whatever, we're in control, right? So when you're somewhere else, when someone else is in control, it must be a lot harder.
I got asked to do an advert, and I'm like really anti-adverts.
Because of all your posts, you can't do it now.
But it was for Amazon.
Oh, so it's all right. Money talks.
With Audible. Actually, I didn't take the money. I said, I'll do
money
it. Actually, the fee I got for the day, I was like, we'll just give it to a charity. Oh, what a guy. But I was like, I want to get in bed with Amazon and Audible because I've got best-selling audiobook. I was like, it's sick connect. So they were like, okay, yeah, you're going to do it with Celeste Barber.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, she's got amazing banter. She's like a national treasure of Australia. I was like, this would be amazing. Filming in Sydney, getting picked up. Worst day of my life.
Really?
Worst day of my life. So I got picked up in like a nice car, got taken to the set. Now, I thought I'd be able to like throw a bit of banter around with Celeste. She got kept so far away from everyone. She literally just come onto set. The second you finished, she was snatched away.
Is that all females being kept away from you?
No. Well, it wasn't. So then...
We got James Smith coming through, put all the females into their special room.
I was in like a fitness scene.
Yeah.
So they created a gym in this big mansion in Sydney. So they had to have all the gym equipment brought in to make it look like it.
Do you just get treated just like just a PT?
No. So I saw.
I just want to be treated like a real PT.
I saw all of the fitness people. They're all sat there like in a park. So I went and sat with them, chatted to them, introduced myself to them. And a woman comes over and she's like, "No, you shouldn't be here. You're talent. Come on." And she was like, "These are extras."
She said your talent to you.
But then she kind of shooed away the extras. She was like, "You don't want to be sat with these people." So
That's horrible.
I know, yeah. And I was like, all right. So I thought, right, where am I going? So they took me to like a makeup van. And I'm getting like makeup. And I don't mind getting makeup. It's quite nice.
You got any this morning?
But then they give you the outfit. And I was like, nah. I was like, surely
What
not.
was it?
The biggest oversized orange t-shirt I've ever seen. And these massive baggy basketball shorts. And I'd brought my own stuff to the set. And I was like, look, I've got unbranded fitness clothes, like it said in it. They were like, no, we've been told you have to wear this. And I was like,
This was filmed in Oz, right?
Yeah.
The clobber's a bit mad there as well.
mate, and I'm sat,
Is it all orange? So you look like you have an exercise at a
You look like
state
his book cover.
penitentiary.
I think they either wanted the Audible colours or from my book one colours. So I think they were trying, mate, I'm not even joking. I think they were trying to replicate that look.
What have I got to promote?
Your face, don't worry.
You're single, we'll get there. And mate, so I get there and I was like a bit ostracized. They said, oh, just sit wherever you want. So I'm on set on my own. I sat down. We were 6 hours late. 6 hours, but no one came up to me. They were like, oh, you'll be on in 15 minutes. 5 hours later, I'm sat there.
Did you get paid for the day?
I gave away the fee. I was like, I don't want it.
Was it a big fee, if you don't mind me
It was
asking?
only like $3,000-4,000.
Oh, okay.
But I thought they said you'll be in like a 15-second advert.
In and out.
Yeah. So then I'm sat there for 5 hours. I've got no one to talk to. I'm just kind of like chilling on set. It's a really underwhelming experience.
But you know, even for yourself, like even if you would, like when you come around to my house and you set up your own cameras, that might take 15, 20 minutes. Imagine when you've got, there's a crew of 60, 70 people. That's the problem is like whenever I shoot a music video, I usually say, like, I've done like 50 music videos now. And I usually say to people, or my managers will say, he likes to be in and out. Like, just tell him what he needs to do. He's done it a load of times. Tell him where he needs to be. And the more people that are in the crew, the longer it takes because it's almost like everyone's got to do a job. But then essentially sometimes you can shoot a music video with 3 or 4 people, just a camera guy, a lighting guy, a makeup girl. And then when there's 60, 70 people, you're on set at 6 a.m. and you don't start filming till 11 a.m. because we're just trying to light it. We're just trying to light. You're a lighting guy. Just light it. And then the electric guy or whatever, the gaffer and all these, they're just like, we just got to sellotape some wires to the floor, be another 45 minutes. You're like, you should have sellotaped 2 hours ago.
Mate, it's great. So they had about 40 people just in this background scene. So 40 extras in the background. And so they would walk across the room, grab a towel. And they were like, again. So they would have to go back, give the towel to someone who folded it perfectly, put it back. And they did the same take again. I'm stood there. So I was like, oh, the 6 hour wait's up. I'm there watching the same scene. Take 71, take 72.
No.
Mate, I'm not joking.
72.
Mate, so many takes. That's why the whole day was taking so long. And then I had my scene with Celeste where basically she steps onto a treadmill listening to an audiobook. Then she catches eyes with me training. And she goes, it was Lord of the Rings. She's like, I might have to finish the whole thing. They cut all my lines on the day. All my lines. But they still made me record them, Darren. So they're like,
where is this ad?
Afterwards, I was like, I don't want to be in it. I was like,
so you completely cut, like wiped from history?
well, mate, but the thing is, so they said, we want you to do an advert.
Did you get to meet her?
No.
She's just over there on set.
Yeah, mate. So I had to interact with her on the advert, but they never let me speak to her. I never got to say hello. Never even got to introduce myself.
I would have crawled across the room like, hey,
what are you saying?
my name's Darren.
You'd actually be good in acting world, I reckon. You'd annoy the hell out of everyone.
I'd want to try it. I'd want to try it.
But it was so underwhelming to go to a set and spend a whole day there, sitting around in dead fucking shit clothes, to then have all my lines cut from it. And then they gave me new lines and I was like, whoa, this wasn't arranged. And it was almost like degrading what they were trying to get me to say. They wanted me to count reps as I was training whilst looking her in the eyes.
As a PT?
No. you know, Anchorman. Anchorman. They wanted me to, but the thing is, the way they were filming it, I'm supposed to be looking at her, but I'm not. They put an X in tape on the wall.
Like you're looking at her.
And they're like, so they're asking me to bicep curl going 1,001, 1,002, but not the Anchorman quote. They've made it their own that's got something to do with the audiobook. And I was like, this makes no sense. I'm literally being objectified.
But you know, a lot of the times,
it's true, yeah, it sounds like it.
You see some of these ads, like a lot of the time, people that are directing it, some of them are really not that creative. Whereas sometimes, like like you're creating your own way. Obviously, so are you. Obviously, so am I. Sometimes it's better to give it to like one guy and make it more simplified
Too
and
many
having
chefs
fun.
spoil the-
exactly, 100%,
spoil the broth, is it?
100%.
There's lots of different types of directors, aren't there? Because there's some directors who like even do the filming themselves. They want to do the cinematography, and then they love shouting on set. But then there's ones who are very like just very quiet, and then they've got like an assistant director, and the assistant director is the one who actually does
Isn't
all
this
the
what,
shouting.
this what you started in, wasn't it?
I started in film, yeah. I studied film at university, and then when I left uni, I went to Australia for a bit when I was 21. Worked at Fox Studios. And then when I came back to UK, worked at Paramount Comedy and MTV I was in tape library, then doing bits of editing, voiceovers.
Who's your
I should probably know more about films than I do about music, but the music's turned out all right.
Have you got a favourite director?
I'd say probably Martin Scorsese.
I was going to say it would probably going to be Tarantino, Scorsese. He's probably going to be Christopher Nolan or
Nolan's my guy.
Nolan's my guy, bro.
like Tarantino was on Rogan.
I love that. It was 3 hours long, wasn't it?
I still haven't listened to that.
I listened to that in like 6 sauna sessions at home. That's in that half an hour each one. But it's amazing guy, isn't he?
Do you have headphones in the sauna?
No, I put a little UE boom on the floor of the sauna with my phone outside the sauna.
That's a smart idea.
That is a smart
It's
idea.
called technology. Think, technology, do. Out now.
I'm not actually sure if I've seen a Scorsese film.
What? You ever seen Goodfellas?
No.
Oh, yeah. What?
I haven't seen
You
Goodfellas.
have to see Goodfellas.
Wolf of Wall
bro.
Street?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Casino?
No.
How have you not seen Casino?
I've seen a lot of films, but
Goodfellas.
just never
Bad
really.
boy.
Casino's one of the better. Have you seen The Departed?
Yes.
Okay, so you have seen some Scorsese films. Have you
But
seen
like, not
have
the
you
old
seen the
ones.
classics like Taxi Driver, Raging Bull?
No.
Oh my God.
These are the
It's
ones.
not like you're 18, mate.
But then I found this after listening to Tarantino. I was like, I need to watch more Tarantino films. So I rewatched Pulp Fiction. I watched that when I was a kid.
Unbelievable film.
And I was like, I don't know what's going on.
Have you seen some of like the
Because
directors
the time just changed.
in Hollywood? They're like refusing to do Netflix stuff because they don't want Hollywood to die because it's slowly like deteriorating due to how big Netflix is becoming
And Amazon as well, yeah.
and Amazon. Yeah,
Or like people are making films and then not knowing how to distribute it, and then Netflix just coming and going, yeah, we'll buy that for 50 million. They're like, all right, you have it.
Yeah. And the thing is, these monsters, like we spoke about this before, I'm really concerned about how quick Amazon is growing. Because once someone takes enough mass of the market, there'll be nothing left.
Bruv, I reckon Netflix, Amazon, there'll be podcasts on there soon.
Mate, there is. I just signed this podcast over to Amazon. They came for me. They didn't offer me money. I was like, what? Are you
No,
gonna-"
but the video.
Oh yeah, mate. They're gonna take everything into one place. Look at Amazon Fresh. Do you have that in Australia?
We don't have it, but I know what it is, yeah.
Mate, milk in 2 hours.
Yeah, I know. I ordered the other day. It just comes so quickly.
I already can
How
feel.
quick- what would you mean in 2 hours? What?
So you order your food in the morning, what's their fresh food, and within 2 hours, a brother just drops it off to your house
Is that
from Amazon, through Amazon.
Through the
Wow.
Amazon website.
Amazon Fresh. You don't even have to leave your house, man. It's mental.
wow? That's so. It's
There's a
like
store
completely
in-
cut out Ocado's.
You know,
sort of
there's a store in
relevance.
London where
Yeah.
you can walk in like with your Amazon account. You don't have to check out anything. It knows what you put into your bag, and you walk out, it takes it out of your account. Yeah, I swear.
Mate, so
I've been in Brisbane, mate. We don't have that. Like, we got kangaroos on the golf course, but that's it.
Amazon's not actually that well respected in Australia.
No.
Because when we released books there,
It took a long time for Amazon to kick in over there.
they respect their local bookstores. So you got like Booktopia, the booksellers, you've got all these different businesses. The Aussies are actually one of the last remaining people to be like, nah, mate, this is going to fucking fuck us.
Yeah, there.
You know what drives me mad about Australia?
Because you don't see many white delivery vans out. If you drive around London, it's just all white
Yeah,
delivery
yeah.
vans.
All that takes time. And then, you know what? People in Oz that don't use WhatsApp, I don't get it.
Australia's
They're
behind
like,
quite
just
a
stick
few
to
things.
iMessage, mate. I'm like, bruv, you need to use WhatsApp.
Do you know what's also mad about Australia is obviously they've got like McDonald's and that, but you know how like England's obsessed with like the sort of mid-range chain restaurant.
Leon,
Yeah.
Pret,
Yeah.
Starbucks.
And then the Cot Brasserie and
Chicken
your
Cottage.
pizza, chicken cottage. But you know, even like Wagamama's, it's pretty decent food and they're everywhere in every city. Australia doesn't really have that.
It's
They're way more about supporting independent businesses. You don't really get chains. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
it's like a 6 out of 10, isn't it? You're in that middle ground. If you're a 6 out of 10, not objectifying women, by the way, I'm calling myself a 6 out of 10. But
You wouldn't call yourself.
Objectifying Wagamamas.
can you imagine a feminist going, did you just quantify my sexual attractiveness out of 10? I feel degraded.
Yes.
I can imagine one of your followers doing that. You've got some absolute lunatics
You're
on there.
completely right. That mid-tier kind of, even look at, no offense, Bills, right?
Bills, yeah.
Like, it's all right.
It's all right, yeah.
But when you go to Australia, there's none of that.
You might have like 3 in, say, Sydney, like 3 really good high-level ones, but...
It is, but the thing is, what I'm saying is, when you have that much, that scale of business, people don't care.
Yeah.
Because it's a brand that gets the hit. If someone takes a shit in your Nando's get the shit, not the actual restaurant. When you're in Australia and they're privately owned, the ones we've even been to, the waiter comes past and sees a poached egg that's a little bit hard. He'll be like, I'm so sorry about that. And he'll whisk it away.
Yeah. The customer service is better in Australia, and the attention to detail, even in the shittest little greasy spoon cafe original, equivalent.
But I think that's because they get paid more. They get paid more and they have happier lives.
I think the quality of produce is probably better as well.
That too.
But they do, they're the best quality of life.
$21. Imagine being 18, yeah? Like when you were 18 in the UK, imagine if you were getting $21, $22 an hour.
Yeah.
You weren't getting that. You were getting £4 or £5 maybe.
Minimum wage has gone up quite a bit here. It's like £8 to £10.
Yeah, but Australia's still like
I think if you found like people doing the shittest jobs in the UK versus the people doing the shittest jobs in Australia, the Australians would be infinitely more happy.
Because of the lifestyle.
Yeah. Because of the lifestyle, the weather, the way, the benefits, the way they're treated, whatever it is, it's just like...
Colour of the sky.
Colour of the sky. That's what it's all about.
Do you know we've had 3 days of clear skies in the last month? I've counted.
I've been here like nearly 2 weeks, and I think I've seen sunshine like twice. And what we're in August coming September. Proper festival weather, innit?
I was buzzing when I moved into my new place. 3 days, had a garden, or have a garden. 3 days of nice weather, and then boom, that was it.
What annoys me is every time something is subpar, you can complain, but you cannot complain about the weather. Yeah. Who do you go to? Excuse me, God.
That's what English people really like. I think that's when British people just like, that's what they bond over the most, isn't it? The weather. You never, I don't really hear that in Australia. People don't just go, bump into someone in the coffee shop or on the train or the bus and just go, cold day, hey. They just don't. Whereas in England, people, if you did that in Australia, people are like, fucking weirdo. Whereas in London, people just walk past, they go, shit weather, innit? And they go, oh, fucking horrible. It's true, isn't it?
British weather.
Yeah. You get a taxi driver and he goes, oh, mate, is it pissing down today or what? Oh, it's pissing down. In Oz, the taxi driver is just like, where you going?
And then when you tell them, you just go, day for it, mate.
Day for it.
Day for it. They go,
bloody day for it.
Fucking Pom, where'd you learn that?
So, that nice little warm introduction. There's some...
Welcome to the...
Because we know you more now, innit? So
we just get straight into it.
Before we were a bit
we've all missed each other.
Well, any example?
I obviously didn't get the memo about the blonde hair.
You could put it off. It looks good with tan skin, darker skin.
I've got 2 more years. I'll wait till I get to Smith's age and then have that midlife crisis.
That's good.
What am I at then?
Sorry, bro. No joke.
Post-midlife. Post-Malone crisis.
Use a little bit of toner in that as well, yeah?
Yeah, a little bit. I need to update it because I've got a photo shoot. I've got a photo shoot on Friday for Armani. Don't ask how or why. But yeah, you get me. In fact, to be honest, it's Emporio Armani. It's
where's the shoot at?
It's actually down the road from the next studio, work studio. But I'm doing this Armani campaign, and then they were like, they offered it to me last week, and then he called me. He was like, "Oh, you're blonde," and I was like, "Yeah, okay. I just wish you'd have told me." It's like, "Why? What's wrong?"
Well, like outfits and stuff.
Yeah, they're just if they're looking at you on Instagram, and then they're like, "Yeah, Elliot's in town. We'll use him," and then you go blonde. But they seem to be all right with it. They're not going to pull the plug.
When you do that stuff, can you jack the clothes?
Yeah.
My guy.
Erin and I did...
Get me some boxes.
Erin and I did a shoot in Tokyo.
Hi, Erin, if you're listening, hi, Erin.
Hi, Erin. How's it going?
G'day.
We did a shoot in Tokyo with Tessuti. So Tessuti, like, the online fashion store, they're massive up north. So if you go to shopping malls in Manchester, Liverpool, Newcastle, Tessuti's like your main thing. And they've got all like the Moschino and the Versace and all the big brands. And we did a shoot in Japan, in Tokyo, just before the pandemic kicked off. So this was like January 2020. And we had to, they basically said you can keep all your clothes. We had like 10 looks each. And like everything, Alexander McQueen, all sorts.
Really?
Like, and we didn't have enough space in our suitcase to take it all home. Oh, you poor things. No, I'm just saying, you do get to keep it. But sometimes the suitcase isn't big enough. But I'm the sort of guy, I like to come home and just dish it out to the family and like, cheer people up, you know what I mean? I like to wear a pair of trainers a couple of times, give them to your manager, give them to my dad, give them to my brother-in-law. Do you give your trainers away?
Do I fuck?
Yeah, but all yours cost 2 bags.
Yeah.
I like
doing that as well. It's nice.
Imagine like for all those people buying these books and they're just like, oh, sign my book for me. And it's just like, gets to 220 books. And he's just like, yeah, I'm getting them crepes now. Yeah, you get me.
I only make £1 a book, less than.
There you go.
80p.
I do apologise, guys.
Oh, How disrespectful.
At this moment,
Opening
we
a
are
can on
sponsored
set.
by.
Oh, mate, it's infused with wonky blackcurrants.
That's right.
Do you know what that means? So basically, fruit that was going to go in the bin is used to make those drinks, and
That's
they're
good.
delicious. Yeah,
It's
so
great.
Try it. It's
Try
nice.
it. Yeah, he's going to swallow his
We
words
practically
now.
kissed.
That's
It's
delicious.
fucking
That's
lovely,
good.
isn't it?
Yeah, you can have some, bro.
Yeah,
So
nice.
Dash Water, if you're listening, send the invoice to send the paycheck. We'll send you the invoice.
Not invoice.
Sorry, the fruit on the mind. That wonky fruit's got me wonky.
Where have you got to go later?
Got to go to Portsmouth to go to Southampton
Why can't you just go to Southampton?
because I am borrowing my dad's car, so I'm going to park it
Are your family in?
Ascot.
Wow, I'm confused. But
So I'm
good
going-
luck. Have a lovely day.
Going from here to Richmond, get the train from Richmond to Ascot. My dad's going to pick me up from the station. We're going to go home and say, Dad, can I borrow your car, please? I'm going to drive it to Portsmouth so I can park it somewhere nice to get a lift to Southampton to do a book signing, to go back to Portsmouth to do jiu-jitsu, to go back to Ascot to stay at my parents.
Lovely.
And then meet me in Edinburgh.
Is that your next thing?
On Friday, I've got to do a business talk, and then Saturday, I've got James's show. So
What's the next show? Cardiff?
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. Amazing.
Edinburgh.
But then I got a book signing in Cardiff and then Liverpool and then Edinburgh.
I've got a gig at a Sundown Festival on Saturday in Norfolk, and I'm third on the main stage. I think it's Bugsy Malone,
Oh, sick.
Becky Hill, me.
After this pod, you'll probably go
Yeah.
off.
I think it's about 25, 30,000 people. And we were so buzzing after Creamfields.
Wait,
Just about to say.
wait.
Mate, I was,
The videos looked unreal.
yeah. It was, well, that's what, so
What was it like for you?
It was, mate, to be honest, before the show, I had a bit of a wobbler. Now, I don't know if you've seen him on Instagram. There's a guy called Liam Channels. He's like my best mate, but he's a really successful businessman. But he also just comes and does my security and driving for free. He does the driving because he's sober, and he does security because he's an absolute fucking unit.
Okay.
And security guards just move out of the way from him because he just commands some respect. And I was obviously missing my wife and kids, but also nervous that there wasn't going to be anyone in my tent. And the reason for that is because I haven't played Creamfields for like 7 years. Last time I played, I was on main stage just before Avicii, RIP. And I had about 40,000 people. And I was the only live band of the weekend, or live act, because everyone's a DJ,
Yeah.
or the only person who shouts a lot.
Yeah.
And I genuinely, my tent was like 8,000. Dead Mouse was meant to come. Dead Mouse dropped out.
Yeah.
I moved. Next Dead Mouse. And then I moved up the bill to headline. So then we brought in the confetti and the lasers and the streamers and the CO2 and the fire and all that. All my full visual package behind on the walls, which you'll see if you come to the gig. I think you're going to come Chelmsford maybe.
Yeah, we're going to come.
Yeah,
And then I'm there and I'm doing all my stretches. I'm doing my Wim Hof method and I'm doing my vocal warm-ups. You know, I'm like, get down. Like, proper, like, treating it proper serious. I'd had like a gin and tonic and a beer. So I was like, just settle the nerves, but nothing too crazy. And then I just started literally, I actually think I had a panic attack. And I've never had one before. It weren't like heart palpitations. It was more just sort of like, and then Liam just spotted me and he just cleared the room, apart from my DJ and my DJ's wife. And he was just like, everyone like really politely, can you get out? Just they need to go through the set list. And I went, he was like, mate, just let it out. I just went over to him and he gave me the tightest hug and I just started crying. And it was just
really?
like, yeah, because it was like, I thought I was doing like that kind of heavyweight title fight.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be
overwhelm.
Just over, is there going to be anyone in the tent? Because I'm up against Chemical Brothers, Jamie Jones, Andy C, Eric Prid's first UK show in like 5 years. Like 4 of the biggest names in world dance. You've got the biggest drum and bass DJ, like biggest like deep house, biggest like probably the most one of the like biggest live dance acts of all time, the Chemical Brothers, and Eric Prydz. And I'm up against them. And there's like 70,000 people there. And I'm like, we might be performing to 500 people. And then we've got 15 people here filming it, lighting. One guy just to fucking trigger CO2 cannons. I thought, I'm going to let everyone down, let my manager down, let my family down. It's just like fucking proper.
You know what I realized about you? Like, you're someone that actually cares and you're quite emotional.
I am,
which is,
but I'm also like, I'm really competitive.
yeah.
And I just couldn't believe that, firstly, that I made it out of Australia on the 3rd attempt.
Yeah.
That my wife and kids on the other side of the world, and usually Erin would be their side of stage for a gig like that. And then, is there going to be anyone there? And then, am I letting people down? And then my new single's out next week, and that could live or die by this. My bookings next summer could live or die by this. You know, we film a packed tent. There were 1,000 people outside the tent who could come in.
Oh,
But
sick.
you capture that on camera, and then next year, my live agent's like, you want to book example? And I'm talking not just UK, Scotland, Ireland, Austria,
Yeah.
Hungary, And like before they come back, well, you know, he's been around 15 years. Has he still got it? Regardless of how my music's performing, you show them that video, fucking yeah. And then you ask for what fee you want and they have to pay it because it's he's playing up against Jamie Jones and Chemical Brothers and Eric Prydz and he's still filling out his 10.
Yeah.
So, but the mad thing is, as soon as I got to the stage, they're doing what they call the changeover, where, you know, they're moving the decks, risers and setting up my bits. And my manager's there and we're almost like sparring. I'm doing push-ups, ready to go.
You're pumping.
And I'm looking out and I can see the whole tent's packed,
Sick.
even though it's silent. There's no music. And at a dance festival, if it's silent, people off their face on fucking pills are usually going to go, we need to go somewhere else, quick, follow me.
Yeah.
I've been there.
But the more people kept coming, so I've just like, guys got on the radio to the front of the house, you know, the sound desk, back, just put something on, just like 70% volume. So all of a sudden, like some Prodigy comes on, hey, they're bubbling. And then I started shaking again. And Liam's just there, my mate's just like, almost like punching me in the ribs, just going, fucking and get it out. And I've just got up on stage and within 10 seconds, the fucking lights come up and the roar, my DJ Wire fist bumped me. And I had that when you're about to cry that. And I just went, what do you say, Greenfield? And then I fucking smashed it.
Well, I'm
like,
getting excited.
yeah,
I'm getting
same, bro. I
excited.
can't wait.
like 90 minutes of like the best gig of my life. Probably one of the best days of my
Really?
entire life. Yeah, and then like my mate got Erin up on FaceTime for all night. She's watching from Australia for like 10
fuck,
minutes.
that's cool,
wild.
man.
And the tent just kept filling. And then like, every time you can just see outside the tent, it was like, you know, an extra few people just sort of, you know, they're like 200 meters away.
But you know what? Like with your tracks, right? You know, when I hear like your big tracks, I'm like, it reminds me of like back in the day, right? And so when people hear that again, they're almost like kind of like reliving a part of their memory. So when they hear that, they'll be so happy.
But there was some people there like maybe 50 years old, like only, you know, maybe 5 or 6 couples dotted around. Most people I'd say were 21. So a lot of them are new fans who maybe heard me when they were 12 or 13.
That's great.
Or maybe their older brothers or their mums tell them to go see me. Because I was like, who's been to an example gig before? And like maybe half the crowd, like, I was like, who's this their first gig? Half the crowd, it was their first gig.
Oh,
So I'm
sick.
just like, I've got this new generation of fans coming through.
That's great for the release as well, isn't
I
it?
guarantee they would have been younger at the time and never had the opportunity to come to your gigs.
That's
And
it.
that nostalgic hype that occurs. Now, hi, my name's...
And they know the word to everything. Like, don't forget, like, Change the Way You Kiss Me and Kickstarts are 10, 11 years old.
Yeah.
And like, but they still sound fresh. It's mad.
So-
I'm like, honestly, I'll shut up now, but I'm fucking gassed.
That's good, man.
James Smith over here, long time fan. First time question. I've been to a lot of festivals. I've done a lot of pills. Like those other acts,
Big man.
those other acts are great. And Eric Prydz is probably my favorite DJ of all
He's
time.
amazing.
But there is something about the energy of your music that can't be compared to those. Because if I go to Eric Prydz, I'm gonna drop a pill, get a bit wonky, and be like, "Oh fuck, these lasers are a bit mad." And when he does drop
And
his
the
beats,
big riffs that hit you. So you go, way!
and you have like a
But
7.
I'm basically doing call and response and arms round. If they get the girls on shoulder, make the mosh pit.
Yeah.
There's no one else doing that.
Exactly. And that's unparalleled. And also for other people, they can grab their mates. And when they come to you, it's not like waiting 7 minutes for a drop like Prydz. They're like, you're going to be bouncing, jumping around.
For an hour and a half.
As those beats drop as well, they're going to be experiencing moments of their childhood, of like even little things like the amount of times your songs have been like in films and TV shows and all of these things. So like for them, I'm not surprised they came, but I can completely understand that anxiety. How did it feel? Did you have a peek around the corner or you're like, I'm just going to fucking go out?
It was kind of like slightly downhill. The crowd went slightly down and up, so I couldn't really work. I couldn't see the back of the tent, but it was, I'll put it this way. When I played Glastonbury and I headlined the other stage, there was, Glastonbury always say there's 150,000 people at the festival. There's fucking 300,000. Because you've got about 50, 60,000 people just going for free to work. Because purely for the amount of shit and litter that needs clearing up. So they might get there and work Wednesday and have Thursday off, then work Friday and have Saturday off. That's how it usually works. So there's like the workers area, which is bigger than most festivals, like 40, 50,000 people. Then you've got maybe 200,000 ticket sales. And then there's the artists, and every artist, there's, you know, because there's fucking like 2,000 acts on, 3,000 acts. There's like 50 stages. And every act usually brings between 2 and 10 guests. So you got 2,000 acts times 10. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people. It's the biggest festival in the world. And the year I headlined the other stage, which is the second biggest stage, behind the Pyramid stage, the Rolling Stones were on the main stage. And I was on headlining the other stage. And my mum and dad flew over from Australia especially to see it. And my dad's the biggest Rolling Stones fan ever. My mum's more Beatles, but my dad's that. And obviously you watch me. But we had 40, 50,000 people watching.
Oh, shit.
And the best thing of all is the Rolling Stones, because obviously, like,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Rolling Stones, but they're fucking money grabbing cunts. You know what I mean? like the 300, 500 pound a ticket, £100 a t-shirt. We're gonna fucking be tax exiles, so we don't have to pay tax. That kind of thing. But we're still gonna vote Tory. Anyway, you get me? Not. No, there's at least Ed Sheeran and Elton John, for instance, are like, yeah, we're going to live in England, we're going to pay our taxes.
Yeah.
Because there's other people out there who need the money more than us.
Yeah.
Fair play. Anyway, rant aside, the Rolling Stones didn't want their set televised. They were the first headline act at Glastonbury ever to not want their headline set televised.
And they have that power, yeah.
Yeah, you just say to the BBC, you're not televising it. Why? If you want to see the Rolling Stones, you have to pay to come see us. And bear in mind, like so if you headlined V Festival back in the day, I'm not, this isn't a quote, but I'm assuming like Oasis, for instance, probably got £2 million to headline Oasis, V Festival. You know, there's the Chelmsford and there's the Stafford.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I don't know what Stormzy got for Reading and Leeds. I'd speculate it's £1 million. That's what you get for headlining those big festivals.
That's unreal.
Everybody takes a cut for Glastonbury. Everyone. So my fee was probably 20% of what I should have got for Glastonbury. I think maybe the headline act maybe gets 200-300 grand. So if you're Beyonce or Jay-Z, you could ask for 2 million, but you play for say 200-300 grand and spend the whole thing on production and rehearsals and dancers and band, because it's the most televised festival in the world. And you're 3 or 4 albums straight in the top 10 the next day. So the Rolling Stones weren't on TV. So everyone's tuned in on BBC iPlayer and all around the world to watch the Rolling Stones. They weren't on. So it's like, and now the Rolling Stones don't want their show televised, so we're going to go to the other stage. And here's an example. I had 3 of my albums going to the top 10 iTunes the next day.
Oh, that's unreal.
That's the power of Glastonbury. I spent all my fee on 2 tour buses, getting my mum and dad down there. I had 20, 30 guests. I had 50 crew, fucking flamethrowers, you know, the lot. But
You did a night.
The point of the story was, in the lead up to that show, I was no nerves, no anxiety, no worry. I knew we'd definitely have a crowd because not everyone wants to go and see the Rolling Stones out of, say, 300,000 people. Yeah. But I just walked onto that, just like Usain Bolt, you know what I mean? At the start of the lineup, you know what I mean? It's just like Usain Bolt's just there like, this is going to be a piece of piss. You know what I mean? All the other sprinters, they're like, but, and at Glastonbury, I was like Usain Bolt, whatever. When I headlined, I was cool. Come on, whatever. O2 Arena, whatever. But on Creamfields, very humbling experience, and I learned a lot from it. And I think it's gonna be better for me going forward as well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
You'd be way more confident. It would be like being match fit and going into that next game. You know, in that you said 90-minute set.
Yeah, and
it's all 9 minutes of just your tracks.
When we decided a long time ago to start doing edits and bootlegs and mashups,
sick, okay.
So it's like a mega mix.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Okay,
so
wicked.
even like the big tunes, we play the whole thing and then we put like a remix on the end. But also we do we'll play some classic Faithless, some classic Prodigy, some Chemical Brothers, like some classic dubstep, some. Let's go.
Did you play the new song?
Groove Armada. Yeah, we played the new single. Played 2 new singles. The new single, just I've got this trick that I do. Sorry, I'm fucking. I've had a lot to eat this morning. I've been to the gym. And
subtle drop.
I don't mind if other artists are listening, other DJs, and they want to nick this idea. Whenever you're premiering a new song, never announce it. Because if you say to the crowd, I'm going to play you a new song, they stand there for the first 3 minutes, the whole 3 minutes, just taking it in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if someone just went, wait till you see my mate. She's coming in. Like,
probably what we did.
She's proper fit. As she walks in, everyone just goes.
Probably what we did.
And then you're analysing her. Whereas if you say nothing about your fit mate who's about to walk in, not to objectify fit mates, but if you're just you're like, who's coming? Oh yeah, my mate Katrina's coming. All right, and then it just walks in, everyone just goes. You know what I mean? Rather than bigging it up. So I don't big up the single, just drop it, and then people are like, this is good. And in their head, they probably look at each other going, yeah, I know this one. I remember this one. They haven't fucking heard it because it's out on Friday. Yeah, it's a good one, this one. Yeah, it's even released this 2 years ago. You don't know it. And but it's actually, and then by the time it gets to the first drop, everyone's having it. And then as the song finishes, you go, by the way, that's my new single out next week. You go, woo! Because every time I've seen people go, yo, who wants to hear a new single right now? People, and then you drop it and then everyone kind of just goes, because they're like trying to learn the words and take it all in.
You can also see how they would actually feel about it, because we did that in your kitchen.
Yeah, well, I really like
Yeah.
people probably going to think we're just trying to sack you off, but genuinely, it's a
Yeah.
banger.
No, it
and
is a banger.
And on Friday, they're going to find out. I keep wanting to
I feel like it's my best song for like 10 years.
and I'll agree with you.
When you sent us that link, when we were listening, because we were kind of listening to it.
This was like,
driving up the
6
coast.
months ago or something in
and
Australia?
we were like, bro, this guy really must trust us,
I sent these guys a private link to, I think, 4 or 5 songs. I was like, what do you think of the other ones? You went, we ain't really got past the first one.
We kept re-listening to it. No, it's sick.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a proper, it's a proper banger. I'm excited for you.
There are
I'm
going to be a lot of
excited for
people
you.
listening that are very excited about tuning in and listening to that. So the day it does come out and they see it on your Insta, they see it on our Insta, you just want them to go to Spotify, add it to their playlist. And
Yeah, that's what we wanted to do. I
Add
just
it
got
to your stories.
some amazing news this morning, which I just told you guys before on WhatsApp. Is like I've got this new record deal with BMG, who are a massive global corporation, but they used to be part of Sony BMG, but I think they parted ways because they didn't like their shared ethoses. So I've signed this new record deal, and I said I was never going to sign a record deal, but they've given me pretty much the same deal that an independent artist would get. So, when you're on a major, most majors give the artist 25%. They have 75. You have to recoup all your costs, all your advance, et cetera, et cetera. I've got the exact opposite. So I'm with BMG, and I think I'm, 75, 25 the other way. And I get to make all the decisions and release what I want, blah, blah, yada, yada. But I've now got this whole global team working for me, and I just wake up this morning, and it's like, good news, Elliot. And it's like, we've got this Spotify banner thing where anybody in my top 5 countries for listeners, so it goes UK, United States, even though I haven't got a big fan base in the United States, obviously 300 million people there to tap into. So it's UK, United States, Germany, Brazil, Australia. They're my 5 biggest territories for listenership. I get most of my streams from Brazil alone, just from my collaboration with Calvin Harris. That
Really?
song was so big in Brazil that all my streams are pretty much just from that one song in Brazil. But I've got this news they just come through, like Spotify absolutely loved the new single. And they're going to push it on a banner in those 5 biggest listener countries to anybody who's ever listened to Example, even once.
That's fucking massive, isn't
And
it?
then I was just like, called the label. I was like, what does that mean? He was like, mate, this is fucking priceless. I was like, what do you mean? He goes, you can't buy this. I was like, what would this be though? I was like, in terms of marketing spend. He was like, you can't fathom it. Everybody in the world who's ever heard Example is going to turn on Spotify on Friday in those 5 countries and be guided to my new single. So I was just like,
That's cool. You know what's mad? Like,
I woke up this morning, like, first thing is waking up in a silent apartment and there's no sounds of kids running around. And I used to think that would be great, but you actually miss your
knowing
kids.
you're going to see James and Darren was like,
Yeah.
You're like my little brothers. and then just checking your text and then just going, fucking hell. And it just makes all this hard, the effort of getting out of Australia, being away for the kids for 6 weeks, quarantining for 2 weeks, it just makes it all worthwhile. Like I say, I'm just like, this trip, I built it up too much in my head and was putting too much pressure on myself. But I've just realized that good things are happening and for the right reasons. You know what I mean? It's not no fucking miracle. No one's doing me no favors. It's just hard work pays off.
if once it's released and it goes absolutely mad, when it goes absolutely mad, right?
We never know.
When it goes absolutely mad. Absolutely mad, yeah. And they go, L, there's this. They want you here, they want you here, they want you here, they want you here. Would you change your plans for going back home at the time that you planned?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'd have to consult my wife about that. I mean, look, the good thing is she's got a family in Australia, and luckily we're in Brisbane, so they're not in lockdown. Because obviously anyone who's listening in Sydney right now, genuinely my heart goes out to you. Because my sister's stuck in Bondi Beach and she can't even leave the house. She's got 2 kids. Fucking awful.
Smith's dream.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a good question. It's a tough one because, you know what? Secretly, I've always been kind of happy I'm not big in America. Because even though everyone wants to be big in America, because it's kind of this thing, it's like the same as acting and music. No one ever, probably said, I'm not necessarily suggesting you'd be like this, but even as an author, it's like, until you've been New York Times bestseller, everything else you've done kind of doesn't matter. That's not my view.
Yeah.
But some people are like, oh, you've won a Brit Award, but have you won a Grammy, you know? But if things kicked off for me in America, that all of a sudden means that's an extra 2 months a year doing promo and touring. So what do you feel about that in terms of being an author in America, a New York Times bestseller?
Well, the Sunday #1 Times bestseller slot.
I know that.
Hopefully going to get that twice this week. Going to get my second one this week. But it's interesting to say about the American market because there's 2 ways I think about this. One, I think it's a huge market. And from what I've heard, if you put your product in front of Americans, they buy it. Like they are the market that go, I like your stuff, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
Like
You've just got to be by the till in Kmart and you're sorted.
That's it. And I think even when you put like revenue and spend over there for advertising, it does really well. However, at the moment, I quite like the idea of not being known in America, because Darren and I were talking about this.
We'd never see you. I'd never see you.
But like, no, but I mean, wherever we are in UK and Australia, it's very difficult for us to even go to a coffee shop without someone knowing who we are, what we do. And that's not a bad thing. It's fantastic. But I love the idea that Darren and I were saying we might go like backpacking across America, and to know that no one knows who you are, no one knows what you do. Like we could just meet people and just say, yeah, we're personal trainers. And it would be nice to have that anonymity. But then on the other hand, you've got a market that can completely change your life.
I think it will start like that.
Yeah.
And then it will turn
That's
into
one of my
that.
favorite things about America. If I ever went to see Calvin or Adele or Sheeran, I could actually go and stand in the front row
Oh, sick.
and fucking enjoy the gig and almost be like, I've done it at a Calvin gig and a Sheeran gig, and just almost been in the mix, right in the thing, just there. Not one person, maybe one person's just like, "Are you example?" You know. But
Oh my
generally
God,
speaking,
oh
I
my
can just
God.
I can walk around a festival. I can walk around Coachella
I want
and,
to. I
and
need
just
to do
go
that.
where I want. And like, but then there's also part of you, and then like I'll see how I've been with Ed once, maybe in it was me, Ed, and Idris Elba, I think, in LA, and it was just watching people constantly ask
He's a
them for
charismatic
photo,
dude.
you know, just
Idris Elba.
I know.
yeah,
Like,
just
and-
constantly asking them photos, and I'm the guy taking the photos,
I've been that
and
guy.
it's actually
before.
really quite cool.
And
You've been that guy.
I've been that guy, and he said no. In my head, I was like, "Brother, you're from Hackney, man. Come on, bruv."
Me and my old housemate, we used to watch Luther, and
Yeah.
we used to try and do our best Luther impressions, and he'd stick his head round into my bedroom and be like, James.
That's quite good.
But yes,
He's an absolute geezer. Me and Idris Elba, Idris Elba and I, we were at Pikes in Ibiza, and this was just when he sort of like, I was headlining Ibiza Rocks every week for 14 weeks. And I think he was my support act 4 or 5 times because it was when he was getting into DJing. And he was just around the time when he was doing his Long Walk to Freedom, Nelson Mandela biopic. And I'd had a bit too much to drink, and I was like, I can do a better Nelson Mandela than you. And he's just, just like, what? I was just like, I can do a better Nelson. I was like, do you Nelson Mandela? He's just like, we'd only just met, so he didn't really know how to take me. And I'm like, the long walk to freedom. It's not a great impression. I was just trying. And then he sort of finished his drink and his burger and just sort of walked off. We became friendlier after that. But I just realized you just probably shouldn't try and do a Nelson Mandela impression to an actual black person who is playing
big
Nelson
black guy.
Mandela. Good life lesson there, especially considering what a hero Nelson Mandela is. So there's certain impressions you can do and certain impressions you can't do.
you know, we've spoken off air at length about your nature of your touring model previously is like go somewhere, come back, go somewhere, come back. And to you, the gap between Australia and the UK isn't that big because your family's there, and you would go to the UK, do sets, come back just to see your family for 2 weeks and then go back.
I did 11 trips back and forth from Australia to the UK in 2019.
I remember you saying that. Now, the
11.
dynamic,
Spent 100 bags on flights. What a dick.
that means £100,000 to my white listeners.
I actually got a bit of a discount with Singapore Airlines because I paid for them all up front. But yeah, it was a lot of money, but it had to be done because for the sake of my spine, you know what I mean?
This
Yeah.
dynamic at the moment of 2 weeks quarantine, no matter what,
That wouldn't happen. I wouldn't go back and forth for that.
I've said this before in pretty much
You
every
wouldn't have time in
podcast.
a year.
Like,
No.
if you were to do that, 11 trips times 2 weeks, that's 5.5 months in a hotel room, right? People don't realize that solitary confinement is the worst human punishment possible.
I'm actually really looking forward to the first 3 or 4 days because I have been going at like 200 mile an hour since I got here. And I'm just fitting in constant people with everything all the time. But there's stuff like this, which I've been really looking forward to. And I know it's going to be fun and it's beneficial. And there's other stuff where it's just like, oh, I've got to do that.
Like imagine day 11, you're in a hotel, you're like, I just want to see my fucking
But that's the
wife and
thing.
kids.
So I reckon the first 3 or 4 days, I'm going to enjoy time to
I
myself,
think-
genuinely. But I reckon after that, knowing my kids are 10 minutes away,
That's
that I've
probably the worst
got a PS5 coming. I went on StockX and bought a PS5 for, I think it was a jib, a grand, sorry, and with an Aussie plug on it.
Yeah.
So that's been sent. Erin said that's arrived. wicked because you can have stuff delivered to the hotel.
Yeah.
And then I tried to book exercise bike rowing machine for the hotel room. They're all booked out. So I've got one of my mates who's got a gym. He's going to drop off a load of gym equipment and that. So I think you can get to a certain point. I reckon the week is the breaking point.
Mate, after the week, it's like, when I did it, I actually had a great time in there, I'm not going to lie. The week...
Yeah, you were just annoying everyone on social media. Didn't you got like 30, 40,000 followers or something?
70.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go down.
But like the first week, after you go past
He's the quarantine guy.
After that first week, you're like, oh, it's the hardest thing is done now. And then when you come out, it's like, it's pretty cool. But for you, obviously, having the kids around the corner is probably the
If I
hardest.
didn't have kids, I reckon it'd be a piece of piss. And like, did you get in better shape?
I actually did
you
get a
came
little
out,
bit...
you skinny little bastard. You've been secret fucking dieting, which means
Right.
the money I spent on Uber Eats obviously wasn't going in this fucking
it
man.
was, bruv. I was telling you,
Was you sending food to the hotel?
But you know why, though? Because he was trying to get man fat. That's what
So
he
when
was
you
trying
came
to
out,
do.
you were on the beach.
He weren't doing it for like, I'm being a good friend. He was like, I need this. I'm eating out. This bastard better be
I
eating.
sent you Wagyu.
Yeah, I ate that.
See how he stutters? He's lying.
I ate
He's
that.
lying.
I didn't stutter. I ate
Was you
that.
doing like prison style workouts and shit in there?
Bruv,
Or?
I was getting in, bruv. I was doing 10,000 steps a day. I was on the assault bike. I had dumbbells, bands. I did a workout every single
Sick.
day, and I went in.
Did you have a balcony?
No, bruv, I didn't have no fresh air.
He didn't even have a window.
Don't they
could
allow
open.
you? They allow you up onto
No.
Nothing.
They let you have. They let you go out for fresh air.
No, but you
Yeah,
get
they
a nice
do.
room. No, they don't.
Nah,
They
so
didn't.
in the UK, they let you have an hour outside. In New Zealand, they let you have an hour outside. In Australia, they don't even give you a window you could spit out of for most people.
Yeah. You'll get.
I spit on you.
I reckon you'll get. I reckon someone will sort you out.
Do you
Like,
reckon?
Yeah.
But
What,
unless,
you saying special treatment? I don't think I'm going to get special treatment.
I don't. I don't
Unless-
know. I
unless
reckon
Check
you
this,
could.
right?
I
So
reckon you
about
could.
3 months ago in Oz, if you flew there to quarantine, you could. There's certain places in Sydney which were like penthouses with cinemas and gyms in, like $3,000 a day. I wouldn't pay that, but I know some people who
I
did.
would.
Yeah, dickhead. Pair of shoes for that one. Pair of shoes for that one. 17 books. And then you go up to Darwin to Howard Springs, where it's like an ex-army barracks, and you get outdoor space, like a little veranda.
Yeah.
But then that's now only reserved for like over 60s and families with 2 kids. So I can't go to Darwin and do that and have outdoor air. And then it's like $2,500 for 2 weeks, standard flat rate all over Australia. And it used to be able to pay, you could pay an extra $500 for a balcony. You could pay an extra $700 for more space. But they've just switched it all up now.
so
You can't buy your way
It's
with
gone
it.
full draconian to the point that I can imagine.
It's
the
good
Aussie
in a
government-
way for fairness, but
Yeah, they're going to be like, nah, mate, you fucking got your hotel room. Because apparently now, leaving, this is a complete, I don't have any evidence to back this up. Apparently they're saying to Aussies now leaving, sign this to say you won't come back for 2 years. So a girl we met at an event, she goes, I've just come from Australia. She was
You signed it,
she was made to sign a
I thought
document.
that guy wanted a signature.
She said, she has to imagine that your country saying you want to leave, you can't come back for 2
Do you
years.
know what it is? This is some insider information. It hasn't really been in the press, but it won't be that surprising. But a mate of mine told me they're spending so much money on repatriating people into Australia, the government. So if you fly home for the first time, like, you're in LA or London, you're like, I really miss home. Are you a citizen? I really miss home. People coming home, but they just want to visit their aunts or their uncles or to meet their new niece or just have a 5-6 week
What,
holiday.
the government's paying for it.
Yeah, because if it's your first time back and you're a citizen, they pay for your flight, your COVID test, all your paperwork and admin and your hotel. Whereas if you come back, if you choose to leave Australia and then come back, you pay for it yourself.
Well, hold on, Darren came back. And technically, Darren was returning home to live in Australia.
Yeah.
As far
But
as
what
those-
I'm saying is there's a lot of people who say they're coming back to live in Australia because they miss home and the world's
Yeah.
fucked, but they're actually just come back for 5-6 week holiday. So they do 2 week quarantine, have a month's holiday, and then they fuck off back to LA. So that's why the Aussie government are now saying, if you fly back to Australia, to come back to live, you're not allowed to leave.
I had to, when I was checking in,
mental.
when I checked in on my way back from Sydney to London, I had to get an exemption. I had to go to the police or whoever at the border. They checked my
the border
passport.
force, yeah.
They checked how long I've been here for. And I think if I was there longer than 6 to 8 months, they would have said, no, you can't leave, which I'm assuming what happened with you.
But yeah, so the first time I went, I got bumped off the flight because there was an aerospace engineer who wanted my seat. And the second time I went back and I didn't realize that my visa had changed from a 309 provisional spouse visa to a visa 100 permanent resident. So because usually I'd be flying in and out of Australia, say every 6-7 weeks, either to New Zealand or to the UK or whatever, as I arrived, they would have gone, "Hey, mate, your visa's changed. Congratulations, you're permanent resident." But because I was stuck in Australia for 18 months, my visa changed and I didn't even know. So I went back the second time. They wouldn't let me leave because I didn't have exemption. And then the next day, I think we had to send like 15 letters, like headed letters of reasons why, I had to come back with fulfill contract obligations and loss of earnings because I didn't earn anything for a year. And then I got approved to leave. And even when I got to the airport, they check in your bags, give you your tickets, and then they have to call and get a clearance code. It's mad. I was like 18 pieces of paper. So you got your passenger locator form, proof of double vaccination, anti-vax, and then you got your fucking what's the other one? You've had your PCR test, and then
how long do you see?
And then a copy of your visa.
How long do you see this thing in for? So like
I reckon to at least January. Most people are saying to at least January. I think if they have herd immunity by Christmas, which was 75% or something.
I reckon it'll be longer.
Yeah, New South Wales are saying even with 80% vaccination, they're not giving people back their freedoms with COVID in the community.
Are you serious?
Yes,
that's so dumb, bro.
They've said openly, even when we fully vaccinate, you're not getting all your.
That's so dumb. You know what's mad as well? Obviously, the UK was crazy, right? But from what you've seen in Australia, like, people tend to be quite healthier. So I reckon if they opened up,
they are in the cities, but when you go in the suburbs,
inland,
they've got the highest obesity rate per capita in the world. Australia's obesity rate is higher per capita than America.
Yeah,
but is it?
And that's a big achievement.
It's probably because of the numbers, though. It's a lot less, isn't it? How many million people?
No, but mate, when you go out in the suburbs, even if you drive an hour out of Brisbane or an hour out of Sydney, everyone fucking massive.
That RSL thing, innit? Hitting the schooners, mate.
They're big.
Surf and turf.
There's some really fat fuckers, man.
But I do feel I do feel for a lot of.
I don't care if people listen to this. I've got nothing against fat people. I'm just saying there's a lot of them.
I know what you're saying.
I do feel for, like, you think about the rural towns where people, like, a car doesn't come through it like once every 2 weeks.
There's a lot of them in Australia, isn't it? When you're just driving up the coast and they look at you. Who's this cunt? Terry, who's this?
But it's crazy that you could live in one of these rural towns where you've got a population of 15 people and your pub's been shut. And you're like, what? That's all they have is farming in the pub. And I feel for so many places in Victoria, like, everyone's moaning about lockdown.
The farming community in Australia, man, it's been fun, especially with the bushfires,
droughts, floods.
Like, people are just having to, like, they've got like fucking 300 dead cows on their land. You know what I mean? And they're having to burn them.
Mate, there was a really, really bad. What I hate, I hate strong word. There was a really bad year the year before where there was a drought and farmers couldn't keep their livestock alive because there was not enough water. So many farmers had to kill their livestock, and then a lot of them ended up turning the gun on themselves because they didn't want to.
Yeah, there was like fucking 20 suicides from like big farmers. It was really awful, man. And
especially if that's like your life's work and like your parents and then your grandparents, and you've been doing this.
Have you ever
seen
Clarkson's farm?
It's fucking amazing.
Have you seen, unbelievable. I think it's one of the best. I mean, like, Clarkson, he can be a bit of a dick, but he is undoubtedly very clever and charming and witty. But I thought, what a genius idea to not only educate people on how tough farming is. Because it's like one of those things that you never really see or hear about, and you never really meet farmers. And do you know why? Because they were fucking working all day long.
Yeah. Do you know
they work harder than anybody else.
And make £140 profit.
Yeah, I know. And like, even if they're making 200 grand a year, you know what I mean? Like, the profit's 15 grand. Like, it's a mental industry.
Did it make you kind of proud to be British, seeing them out there on the farms and like seeing the countryside? I was like, UK's not all that bad.
No, UK's exactly.
But I hate it when people now, like, there's a lot of like pro-vegan propaganda and all of this, and like there's a guy on TikTok called like Big Farm Randy, and he shows his farm in Australia where he gets the vegans who are like, oh, you're torturing animals. He's got a field full of cows that he hangs out with, and they're all growing up, and he knows them on first name basis. And like, literally, he's like, you nurture these animals in fields for like months, and then they have one bad day, and then they're used for meat. But like, it's so crazy. But when you actually see farming, they have a lot of care for the animals. Obviously, there are some places in the world which are terrible.
America.
But so many people
China
misinterpret that. And, when people are like, don't eat meat, meat-free Mondays, you shouldn't be having red meat, it'll give you cancer. Or people going like, all of this. There are human beings in the British society, many of which that are farmers, that will suffer because of this.
Yeah, and the farm's been handed down for 7 generations.
And I get so many people looking to protect animals, and I completely understand from an ethical standpoint, but why are you putting the values of an animal in front of your fellow human being?
Yeah, I know. I totally get you.
So it's
as long as it's, free range and RSPCA approved and they're treated properly.
What do you think, Darren?
when people like talk to me about this stuff, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, there's kids dying in Afghanistan. You're telling me about this cow. And I'm like, I can't even listen to you. I'm like, I don't care.
I mean,
I know it sounds a bit.
some people, I think someone said to me, pigs are the most intelligent animals, apart from fucking dolphins. Pigs.
What's a pig ever invented?
Bacon. No. No, I think someone said to me the pigs have the emotional intelligence of a 5-year-old. 5-year-old kid.
What's a 5-year-old ever invented?
But it's all about ethical, isn't it?
Yeah.
How ethical it is.
It's annoying because the people that usually tend to be like that really radically, really quickly is they watch one thing. Or they hang out
It's
with...
like the same people who watch an anti-vax video on Facebook. I found myself watching them going, I just said something about a strand that I didn't realise. And then you see underneath and it's
proteins.
doctor something, PhD, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's like anyone, you could go on, if no one knows who you are in America, you could go in there if using big enough words and say enough random stuff and put Dr. Deering Cartel, PhD
Tell
under
Dr.
it.
Dre that.
Man will fuck you up.
And they're like, I watched it and he's a doctor and he said it's true. So I'm not putting that shit in my body.
Yeah, exactly.
But who's checking the doctor? When people call themselves doctors and that.
I'm getting an honorary doctorate in September from the University of London. And I would not do a YouTube video about vaccines or meat.
Yeah, like just stay out of it. Personal preference.
Yeah, I'm going to be a doctor of music.
Are you?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Dr. Elliot Gleave.
Dr. Elliot Grieve. Yeah. I'm going to have a little badge. When they're on a plane, they're like, is there a doctor on board? We're like, yeah, what do you want me to sing?
Let me do a quick mix on that.
He's dying. He's got a heart attack. Wait, let me play some chords for you.
Start again.
And the heart can start. Oh my
He's got a
God.
new song called Jumpstart in it. Call me defibrillator.
Oh, shit. I was about to do a defibrillator joke and you got there.
Oh yeah, people dying.
Tough time. Only tough.
Yeah, some big revelations on the show today, guys. Yeah, hope they don't take my doctorate away from me.
Are you excited about going home to Australia? Are there mixed emotions at the moment?
No, and the only reason is because I've just got so much unfinished business over the next few weeks. I've just got so much to prove. I feel like I'm fitting 6 months of work into 6 weeks and everything. I'm announcing my UK tour next week. 14 dates for January, February next year. So if people check on when's this going out? Like this week?
We can put it out. Well, when
Friday?
would you like it to go out? We can put it out whenever.
Friday. So when people listening will be like, that's today.
Why don't we put it out in the next couple of days so people can know the next day when they wake up? Because some people might not be as quick onto it as we expect.
But yeah, the UK tour was announced next week. And I'm very excited because the last one sold out. And I played the last completed UK tour before COVID.
Oh,
so my London gig was March the 7th.
Where was it?
What do you mean?
In London, where was it?
Oh, Kentish Town.
Okay, sick.
Do you want me to send Darren and I's rider to your man now? Or?
Yeah. I played Kentish Town and then flew home the next morning. A big party at mine until like 5 a.m. Cleaned the flat up, put the bed sheets in the washing machine, packed my bags. I was at Heathrow by 9 a.m. Got on a flight home. Landed in Australia on the 9th, the morning of the 10th of March. A week later, we're in lockdown.
Fuck.
Mad, isn't it? And it's fucking nuts.
Erin likes London, though, didn't she?
She loves it, but she would never wanted to raise kids here.
Okay.
And I totally get that because we walk our kids down the hill to school. I mean, you see my house and where I live. It's fucking compared to like London. Don't get me wrong. London's one of the most exciting cities in the world. But do I want to sit in traffic for 20 minutes just to drop my kid off at school? No. Do I want to worry about finding a parking space? No. Do I want my kids potentially growing up getting buses and tubes to work every day with all the stuff that goes on in this city? You know, I mean, it's an amazing city, but Brisbane's a lot safer.
I love Brisbane.
And it's just all out on a Sunday morning. We drive 5 minutes. We're in a fucking forest. We go mountain biking. There's an electric barbecue there. You get the bacon on the go. Oh, rest in peace, pig. And
good intelligent.
And then go to the water park.
Yeah.
And then come home and have all the family around. We're in the pool. We're in the garden. They're on the trampoline. It's just like bliss. You know what I mean?
You're giving me hope. You're giving me hope.
Give me hope. And the only thing that Brisbane hasn't got is a beach.
But then Gold Coast is an hour away. And sometimes, have you ever noticed when you're dating a bird, it's nice if she doesn't live too close?
Well, he don't know that, no.
You said my wife is a beach.
But then you can make a trip out of it. You're like, kids, get in the fucking car. We're going to the fucking beach.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing. Is like when you get summer holidays, we've got either Gold Coast, Burleigh Heads, Noosa. What are you saying? But yeah, I think to be honest, we'd have our house would be covered in sand if we lived near a beach. That's the main thing that people.
As you can tell, I'm not really fussed about all this.
Really?
So I'm a London boy, innit, mate? Fucking
No, I love Australia, but I don't know. It's not.
For me, I feel that you're living my dream.
You like going back for what, 2-3 months?
Yeah, it's perfect for me.
You want to live there one day, don't you?
I want what you're talking about.
Okay, yeah, that's the life, man.
But I probably want a wife who hates me a bit and she's always giving me shit. And like,
so you can go on tour.
Yeah, and then we could just start arguments so I can leave. And then I'll come back and she'll be like, oh, fucking, you're back already.
I'm sorry, babe.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm sorry.
I'll be like, I can't
Why
wait.
would she talk like that? Why is she a 76-year-old woman called Diana?
I'm sorry, James.
I can't wait to see Darren and be like, I'm in the fucking doghouse again.
Yeah. I can't come out, lads. Rebecca won't let me out.
Yeah, so,
What is these voices?
but that's the life I want. I want chilled. And do you know what? The skies being grey here, it just fucks with me so much. Like, I wake up
It affects my mood, seriously.
massively. And I think I'm conditioned now to being in Oz so long. Like, I don't care if it was 10 degrees colder every day in the UK all year round. Do you know what? I nearly moved to Norway at one point. I was going there to see a girl. Mate, the sky's blue
To see
there.
your friend, Yarna?
It's colder there, but the weather's nicer.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And then in the summer, it doesn't get dark till like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
But then in the winter, it is obviously quite a lot darker. But even in Sydney, middle of winter, not for you in Brisbane, you're like, oh my God, I'm freezing, but the sun's out. And it's such a nice compromise.
I know what you mean. Yeah. And Norway has some hot birds.
That's why I was there.
And they have skiing.
They'd be like, oh, meet me in Oslo. We'll go up to Lillehammer.
They're probably my favourite things, hot birds and skiing.
Can you ski, yeah?
I'm a bad man skier.
Really?
And you know the only reason I say that? I'm shit at football, shit at rugby, shit at basketball,
Singing.
shit at golf, great at singing, amazing at skiing.
I can imagine you with a funky outfit on there.
I will fucking bun anybody on the ski slopes.
You know, I hate saying it, but when COVID is over, which it never will be, Chamonix 1 year, Christmas.
My mate's got a place in Chamonix. We're going to
Shout
stay
Have you
there.
ever done like a ski festival, like performed?
Yeah.
Have you?
I've-
That would be sick.
I've done one in Andorra, one in Bulgaria. That weren't a big payer. And I've done snowbombing 5 times. I headlined snowbombing and I had my stag do there. So I was
To
just
the owner of Snowbombing, we are here, we are
We are
ready.
here, we're welcome.
Yeah, I was like, how can we? Because I was like, my diary was mental. I was like,
We
how-
got invited. Do you remember? We got invited to one of those things in. I don't. Where was it? Do you remember?
It was like north of the equator.
anyway, yeah, we had my stag do at snowbombing, and I think 20 of my mates flew over. Some were there for like my bands were there for like the whole week, but people were coming and going for 2 or 3 days. It was fucking sick. And then my missus came over for the gig night, and with like 3 of her mates, so it was like a combined stag Hindu, or as they call it in Australia, a bucks party.
Bucks party,
Are
man.
you getting your backs?
Scanning your backs.
Do you know a funny story?
Oh, go on, here we go.
So when I first got to Australia, I thought I was starting PTing in like January, but they were like, oh, your paperwork hasn't come through from the UK. You got to start in February. I was like, what the fuck am I going to do for a month to earn money? So I went to the opera bar and applied for a job. So like, that's how skint I was when I first got there. I was living in Backpackers. I was living in Wake Up. I was 27 at this point. And they said, you need an RSA. I was like, excuse me? They're like, you have to go on a course to be able to serve alcohol in Australia. Do you know that?
Yeah.
And you got to
It's
know
responsible service of
alcohol.
Yeah.
But it's like what every backpacker does as soon as they arrive in Australia, regardless of whether you want to work in it. It's like you get that or you won't get any job.
But then I was like, but I'm starting at Fitness First in a fucking month. So I got offered $50 to do topless waitering at a Bucks party. My mate at the time was a stripper. So he was like, I need you to just go pour
At a
drink.
Bucks party.
Not Bucks. What's the one with girls? You just call it Bucks. Oh,
Hens.
Hens, that's it. So, Hens, not Bucks.
Big man,
Bucks.
clip
Hens.
that. I need that content.
Hold on.
James, I can't believe it.
Yeah, but he just said in Australia. Hold on, wait.
Very man, it's a bucks party for a married.
I didn't understand. But a second
Well, it
ago,
could be a married gay
you said,
man. But
hold
I
on,
don't know.
you said Erin came out and they go in Australia. They call that a Bucks party. I was like,
No,
is it?
I said.
Okay, I
For,
thought-
for his bucks.
Okay, I thought it was really weird because I was like, you got stag and you got anyway.
Wow.
So I was like, with your translation, I was like, for a Bucks party, for a hen dude, the birds anyway.
Right.
So I get the text. I'm like, you need to go here. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I was like, $50. I was like, fuck it, I'll skin. I was like, that'll buy me like 1.5 nights in the Backpackers. So he's like, I'll be there in an hour. And I'm like, what am I walking into? I was like, bro, what do we do? He's like, just make drinks for people and stuff. I was like, all right. So I was like, probably going to be some old birds. Probably going to be like some, classic hens like, oh my God, we're going butlins. I walk in, 11 birds, 25 fits.
My man.
And I'm like, oh shit. So I go in there. And at the time, thank God, I was in better shape than I am now. Rip the top off, start making drinks. I turned it into like a bit of like a rugby pre-lash. Like, fuck, imagine if some of these are like listening to this now. So I'm like getting them drinking games and stuff. And like we're in there and then I look at the clock and I'm like, he's still not here. He was 3.5 hours late. So then after the first hour, I was like, I'm just gonna have to get fucking smashed with them. He turns up 3.5 hours late.
What was he doing?
Other stripping jobs.
Is this our guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Other stripping jobs.
So I'm living in Manly. This is going on in Coogee. In Coogee got the bowls, the other side, they were like posh apartments. This is like a really nice Airbnb. Next thing I know, I'm partying hard with 11 birds who are
Just
25.
You?
I'm getting eaten alive. I'm getting inappropriately touched. Hands are going down my short. Everything is going on. I'm like, please walk through that door. Every 10 minutes, I'm looking at the door.
And you wanted to write a fucking book. Why don't you carry on doing that?
Mate.
That's the life.
Absolutely mental. And I thought, I know what like masculine energy can be like. Feminine energy can be worse.
Oh, mate.
Mad.
I know exactly what you mean.
There were no considerations for my feelings or my rights as a male. And I tell you what.
You loved it.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. So there's some people out there that are probably going to the airport and seen like that book and gone, hold on a minute.
He was at our box.
I've been down his pants, Laura. I've been down his pants. And it felt good. I don't know who was getting married that day, but James felt good.
Hey, I got some Snapchats because that's how long ago it was. It was the Snapchat
I think
time.
you showed me him actually.
Mate. And one of the wandering hands had an engagement ring on it.
Oh.
What's the craziest thing you've done for money?
For money?
Like you done shit jobs back in the day?
I did landscape gardening when I lived in Australia. That was shit. I worked in a kitchen. That was shit. Worked in a mountaineering shop. That was really shit because I only got the job because they were like, have you done anything like, are you climbing or camping? I was in the Boy Scouts.
I was in Boy Scouts
for
well.
6 weeks.
Represent.
But I got a job. The camping shop was pretty dreadful because I had to try and sell hiking boots to actual hikers. And I was like 17 and I'm just going, yeah, so this one here, like,
you know, with Air Forces.
A bit more flexible and that. And like, the laces won't ever rip. What do you reckon? This guy's like, I don't know. He's going to work up Kilimanjaro.
them hiking boots kill me. When I see people on the tube wearing them, I'm like, where are you going, blood?
Oh, the ones in Australia, they're called like Merrills or some
Merrill,
shit.
they love on Merrill.
They love it. They're dead, bruv.
Do you know what's weird? You know Salomon trainers?
They're really trendy now.
How are they trendy? They're fucking butters.
But you know, the secret sneaker store in Australia. Have you been to the one? You got one on George Street. They're all over. The ones that really snazzy, expensive. Where you get like
you sort of like go down some staircase and
Solomon and the Solomon trainers.
I thought they were Salomon.
Oh,
they
might be Salomon.
I thought it was the same people who did like the ski.
They do, yeah.
But
have you seen them in the trendy sneaker stores?
They are so dead. They're so dead.
Oh my!
But for some reason, people
dead ones. Jamie.
They sell them on designer footwear stores for like 150 quid.
That's fucking mental.
It's ridiculous. Do you know what? It's one of those things. They're so bad that they're like become trendy.
But that's, do you know, we got to thank for that Balenciaga with their triple sole. What the fuck?
Yeah, I was bantering one of our friends at IFS about that as well.
When you see like roadmen wearing them though.
Yeah, I know.
Like little skinny jeans and they've got like these big.
You know what the fashion is around here, like in these areas? All the rich girls wearing bruck up Air Forces that look like they're talking.
No.
Yeah, man.
Like, do you know what? I've never seen
girls. I've been away too long.
I've never seen girls wear dirty trainers so much in my life.
Yeah, it's mad.
Is this a new thing?
I swear, it's like the Air Force. It's like they crease them on purpose and get them on dirt. I'm like there doing this with my toes so my Air Forces don't crease.
But the rest of them is like pristine or whatever. And then...
Yeah.
But like, it is actually quite concerning to the fact that like me as a person, I'm always trying to keep my trainers fresh. And it looks like a lot of women in Southwest London doing the opposite.
I just don't get it because I'm like, you have a trust fund.
But no, it must have been it's got to be like because a lot of these posh Southwest London girls, they base all their stuff on the like Kylie Jenner and all them, don't they? So if Kylie Jenner must have been wearing like a a boob tube with some baggy denim stonewashed jeans with some Bruck up trainers. It has to be one of those guys.
Unless they're vintage, or they're buying the 1998 model.
Because I swear it's all the Kylies and Kendalls and Rihannas and Hailey Baldwin. They're the ones who are pretty much women are just copying, isn't it?
I think so.
And you
I think so. There are other women to
It's
copy
all about
too.
that baggy vibe now, isn't it? You know,
Baggy.
like the cycling shorts.
It's like wearing
baggy.
a bra, wearing a sports bra or just a bra with baggy and then a fucking suit jacket over
Did
the
you
top
see at the
with
weekend?
Bruck up trainers.
Yeah.
A lot of chicks wearing high-waisted leggings, but the short ones, the shorts, with a sports bra, then like a jacket.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a,
yeah.
like
I
a
love
cycle
that. I
shorts.
really like that
I
look.
do like that as
I
well.
love that look because
with
it's sort
nice
of like,
trainers. You're like,
they look a bit like a flasher. I'd like to say to the missus, you got any long flashing jacket? So,
It's a sick vibe.
no, I do like that vibe for sure. Yeah.
anything else?
We're not trying to, by the way.
I don't care. You don't have to explain yourself.
Jack,
I'm a good person. Fuck anyone who's offended.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Go suck off a dead horse.
That will help the farming community. What?
So, Dura and I are going to be making a music video for your new song.
Okay.
I'm like, so can you send us the file on Friday?
Yeah.
Or we can just download it from that link you gave us.
I'll get a WAV for you now.
Can you
Yeah.
actually?
Are you all right? Do you need a WAV
Yeah, I'll take
or
anything.
an
Yeah, I'll take
MP3?
Yeah, yeah.
How good's this meme, by the way? Hearing I'm not doing anal followed 10 minutes later by you shit all over the tent was my highlight of Creamfields. That's just the first thing that's come off my phone. Not example as the highlight of Creamfields. That's pretty much, I'm not doing anal. You shit all over the tent.
I actually love seeing the TikToks from Leeds and Reading and Greenfields
those
at the
are-
weekend.
Have you seen the video on Twitter that went viral yesterday of just people falling down a muddy hill?
No.
So these lads have just set up next to a muddy hill at a festival and they're just there filming, waiting for people to fall down the hill. I'll send it to you. It's about 200 people. You can see them coming. They're just like, everyone's like all proper wavy. And then you can see the guy behind the camera go, and then they're like, yeah, mate, how you doing? They're like, yeah, mate. And then it's just people just falling over down a muddy hill. And the post is something like, festival season's well and truly back.
It's so good to see crowds again.
It is, isn't it? Yeah,
It's
it makes
amazing.
me so happy. Like,
Mate, I can't wait for you to see a gig.
hey, that's end of September? No, not end of September.
September the 25th in Chelmsford. So it's like, I've got 5 more gigs, but 4 of them you can't get tickets to. They've all sold out.
Flex.
If you want to come Isle of Wight, have you got anything on Isle of Wight? You can come with me to Isle of Wight. It might be, again, a helicopter as well.
Flex.
And then September 25th, Chelmsford Racecourse. I think we've sold like 3,000 tickets and there's like about
Flex.
1,000 left.
Flex.
What day is that? Is that a Friday?
I think we might be in Newcastle.
Oh, shut up.
Wait, hold on, let me check.
Oh, mate, James, Duran, I love yous. Will you sign me book?
Aye, fucking in Newcastle.
Did you say it's 25th?
Yeah, you're busy.
Fuck.
Are we in Newcastle?
I just got to plug the gig
And
anyway.
then 26 is Glasgow.
Glasgow's going to be
Glasgow.
Glasgow.
But then we're finished.
When people say to me, what's the best gig? What's the best crowd? What's the best country? It's like Scotland. Like, but you've played in 62 countries, Elliot. There must be another country. Scotland.
Scotland.
When you go Eastern Europe, when you get to the Latvias, Lithuanias, Romanias,
North of the equator.
Slovenia, you get some pretty wild crowds.
Yeah.
Um,
Can you not move that show?
but no, Scotland is always the best crowd.
That's not your last event, is it?
That's my last event. And then I've got 2 music videos and then I fly home on the 3rd of October.
When's your UK tour?
January, February next year, which I hope I've obviously got to get exemption for again.
Fuck. Do you know what? Does it not get you excited to think about a time in the future where you can just fly to Australia and your wife pick you up off the plane? How nice would that be?
It's mental that we've just become like, we're fully accepting how the world is now. I'm like,
Acclimatized to it,
if I want to fly, if I want to leave Australia, I've got to pay a solicitor a few $1,000s and get a load of paperwork to get out of Australia. I've then got to turn up to the airport with a load of paperwork. And then I may still have to quarantine on the way back.
You're also
though I've been
stressing as well.
And I've been double jabbed.
When you go to the airport, you're usually excited, but now there's stress.
It's stress.
Because
Do
you're
you know
like,
the worst
am I
thing
going to get through?
The worst thing for me was saying goodbye to my wife and kids, saying I'll see you in 8 weeks, twice.
Oh.
So I'm like there hugging my kids as tight as I can, like sniffing their hair because you love the smell of your kids' hair. It would smell so good. And then just like, and then they're obviously all right with it. Like the little one's like, bye, Dada, I love you. And then the 6-year-old, nearly 7, he's like, Dad, how long are you going for? I'm like 7.5 weeks. He goes, let me work that out. 7 times 7 is 49. Plus how many days? I was like 3 or 4. 49 plus 4. I see you in 53 sleeps. You give him a hug, read him a bedtime story, stroke him to sleep, go downstairs, say goodbye to Erin, give her a hug. She's like, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry.
Come home 2 hours later.
Fucking hell.
Wasting my time.
Right,
Fucking idiot.
literally at the airport, I was like, babe, I'll see you in 20 minutes. She's like, what?
Wasting my
And then
time.
she's like, okay, just so you know, I'm doing fake tan. I'll see you soon. I won't be able to hug you.
And do it all over again the next day.
And then do it again 2 days later, and then do it again 5 days later. It was fucking toughest week of
That
my life.
would have
That
been-
is why I was so emotional before Creamfields, because I had never been that. I'm one of these guys, I just get on with shit.
Yeah.
Like, you got cancer, cool, I'm going to deal with it. You know what I mean? So-and-so's died. All right, that's really sad. I'm going to get on with it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm a heartless bastard, but I just get on with shit. But preparing to say goodbye to your family for 2 months, 3 times, and then not knowing if someone's going to be at your gig, because that's the whole reason you're there. Mate, it's been one of the
Do you feel
most
like,
roller coaster few weeks of my life.
Yeah.
would you have brought them out if so basically, like, I'd love to say to so many people in Australia, just come to the UK, let's do something cool, let's go to Europe, let's do this, but I don't want to put them through what they'd have to go through to get back.
Exactly. I wouldn't wish it upon anyone.
If they were like, look, example, we really like your music, we're gonna exempt you and anyone from the hotel, you'd be like, come out, and then just fly back with them.
If things do go really mad, right? Is there any possibility of Erin and the kids being able to come here for say like 6 months or so? Like,
Yeah, I mean there is, but the thing you have to remember is like, do you want to take your kid? My kids have got a routine, and routine is good for kids. Like, it's good to mix it up every now and again. They don't have to go to bed at 7 every night. It's good to give them different food and take them different places and put them out of their comfort zone, for sure. But is it right to take them out of school with their friends and their teachers at such a key, crucial learning point in their life and bring them to another country, and also like spend £20,000 on flights for your family?
yeah.
You know
To do
what I mean?
winter in London.
And then they come to London, they've got a nice big house, they've got a garden, they've got a trampoline, they've got a swimming pool, they've got all their friends, they've got their school at the bottom of the hill, they've got their bikes, they've got their fucking frisbees and their tennis rackets. And then we're going, oh, you're going to stay in daddy's apartment in London. You two are going to be sharing a little room in a bunk bed. What?
Yeah.
You're not going to see any of your friends. What? You're not going to school. What? It's not fair.
Can't swim in the Thames.
Nah, but massive respect to my wife, because we don't have cleaners, we don't have nannies, we don't have cooks, we don't have PTs. We do
Not
everything ourselves. She does. She's a fucking strong woman, as you know. She's been on the show.
How's
But
her ribs?
She's all good, man. She's training like an absolute weapon at the moment. She's so fit and strong. It's mad. And like doing it with the kids as well. Because I usually do all the cooking, and like I won't let her touch anything. I'm like, you're doing it wrong. She's like, you fucking cook then. But she's actually enjoying cooking.
Oh, nice.
Is there going to be some events in Australia on the cards once
I just announced 2 today. Did you see?
Perth and
Perth
Brisbane.
on Christmas Eve, which means I'm going to
Get
get off stage at 10 p.m. and get on the red-eye flight to land back in Brisbane for opening presents on Christmas Day.
Sick.
And then Brisbane New Year's Eve. And I'm doing the midnight countdown.
Oh, sick.
And I think that's 15,000 people on an old, like an old sports stadium.
Oh, that's fucking sick.
And that's like my new hometown
Smith
now.
probably, if you're there, you'd
I'm going
want
to try my hardest to get to. If I'm on Australia, I'm there.
Mate, it'll be unbelievable.
But that's if New South Wales can get into Brisbane.
Why don't you just fly into Queensland?
Yeah, I've been
Why,
thinking about that.
if New South Wales is in lockdown, you ain't flying to...
Yeah.
But I can only get into Brisbane if I get PR. And they might not give me an answer till May.
Oh, what? The world's mad.
It's a 2-year wait for that. I literally, when I met immigration, I was like, you can have however much money you like. I just want to go to Oz. They're like, okay, we'll let you know in 2 years.
If I could give you mine, I would.
Thanks, man.
I would. Because if it makes him happy, I would.
Like a fake passport.
Right.
We need a Turkish connect. And someone dodgy on the inside.
Turkish
can
Kurdish.
My man.
Don't forget.
Same.
Don't forget, not just Turkey.
My man knows, bro. You
Just
get me?
Kurdish as well.
Say,
innit?
wallahi, brother. It's good, bro. You know, we are here. Good times.
What would you want to leave people with today, Elliot? Like you say to them, come to my event, stand out my... What is it?
We've already talked about the single and the tour. I'm just going to say, for everybody,
I'm back.
I'm fucking back, man. And it feels good.
Can you say it at that camera? Where's the camera? Say it to that camera.
Say it to all of them.
I'm back.
And
I'm about, cuz. I'm about, cuz.
Project X.
yeah. www.
Well, from
Thank
us, it's
you.
been great to have you back on again. And yeah, hopefully,
Yeah,
we'll have you on
You're not
again.
going to make a gig this trip, are you?
Fucking, I don't want to talk about
Are
it.
you
mate.
busy like every Friday, Saturday?
until
Till October.
yeah.
Well, I'm very happy for you, genuinely, but it's a shame you won't get to experience the best live show in the world.
I just hope there's not a bomb threat in Newcastle.
We can all go.
Oh, those famous bomb threats. Oh, mate, I'm going to blow yous up. You don't support the Magpies. Fuck yes. We're going to stick a bomb right under your jumper.
Your accents are actually sick.
That's my PG and Duncan. On deck Saturday night takeaway. You won't believe it. Who's coming up? Not example.
Well, this is available YouTube, Spotify. If you've enjoyed it, share it to your stories, all of that stuff.
I will be.
Examples on social media at Example.
Everywhere.
And I hope you enjoy. Not only do I hope you listen to it and download it, let us, all three of us, know what you think.
100%. Use it on your stories, on your Insta reels.
Oh, yeah, the new single, Every Single Time, it's called.
And it is a very happy
Banger.
fucking song. So I can't wait to make some little edits to that, bruv. Thank you guys for
I can't wait for the
listening.
copyright to delete all my videos.
Yeah.
Mashallah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. Cheers.
Cheers,
Dan.
man.
Peace.